All right, I'd like to call this meeting to order. We have a nice crew tonight, thank you. I'd like to start with the warrant items. I'd like to make a motion that we accept payroll number 74 for $1,885.96. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I'd like to move to approve accounts payable number 75 for $84,234.11. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And that is pretty hefty because that's our RSU, which we have to pay monthly. It's almost 75,000. So that's a big chunk. All right, I'd like to move that we accept payroll number 76 for $1,885.96. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And lastly, I'd like to make a motion that we approve payroll number 77 for $15,047.96. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I'd like to move that we accept the minutes of February 5th, 2024 Select Board meeting. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, and let's sign that quickly and we'll be done with that one. All right, we have several pieces on our agenda today. We're going to start with a couple of the citizens' issues and then move to some of the presentations that we've asked people to do. So I'd like to start with an issue that we had last week, and it was about a consent agreement with Pedro Gamares. And we have a consent agreement, and I'm not going to read the entire thing, but I'd like to just briefly summarize it. That basically, we have asked Pedro to do an after-the-fact permit for his. It was a carport that turned into a kitchen. We've asked him to do an after-the-fact permit. And once that is approved, and we're hoping that will be pretty speedy, there will be no charge for him to do that, that we will release him of any other issues, and we will also be released as a town. And I'll just read those, item number 7 specifically. The town agrees to release all claims against Gamares, his successors, and assigns that exist as of the effective date of this agreement, except that the violation for failure to obtain building and plumbing permits for the conversion of a carport to a kitchen shall be considered eliminated upon issuance of the after-the-fact building and plumbing permits as stated in paragraph 4. Upon such permit issuance, no penalties shall be assessed, and the town shall waive such penalties. And the current and future property owners can use and enjoy the carport and kitchen in accordance with those permits. So I'd like to make a motion that we approve this consent agreement. Do I have a second? Second. And we have asked, yes.
Doesn't that open floodgates for every violation in town? So you
It does not, it does not. Donna forgot to mention the part about the town. She only read my violation. She did not read the town's violations, which I hope that she will now.
I was trying not to read the entire document.
No, because you were telling one side of the story. You should tell both sides of the story. Otherwise, you're just trying to make me look bad.
That was not my intent, Pedro, so I apologize.
Then let's read the town's violations too, so that the citizens can know.
But that still leaves open every violation.
Well, there's Mario, there's a violation on 61 Tarbox Road. There's a cabin that was built by your son there with no permit. So let's start addressing that.
Leave my son out of it. We're talking about
okay,
this
okay.
exactly here.
Okay.
No, you're not going to weasel your way out of this. April, I requested all permits from 2015 from 61 Tarbox Road, and you provided me with one permit from last year that was signed in 2003, not 2023, and that it was approved within 24 hours. Is that correct?
I don't know, Pedro, I didn't memorize.
Can I share my screen then to show you? Because I have the email here from you.
Yeah, I'm
Pedro,
not on the
we're-
Zoom,
we're
but
good.
Feel free.
Well, if Mario is objecting, then I'm objecting too, because there's special treatment that was handed here to his son, and here he is talking.
Has nothing to do with my son, has to do that somebody breaks the law and then he gets away with nothing. That's
It's
all.
not a law, it's not the law, it's an ordinance.
All right, let
Yeah,
Donna,
yeah,
let
yeah,
Donna
yeah.
explain the first half of why
Yeah.
this came to be and why the town is involved the way it is.
Yeah, whereas, there are places here, I'm not gonna read this entire thing, but, according to Pedro, he did ask for permits and he didn't get them. And so he went ahead and built the.
But also, wait, also, there is the turnaround at the end of Haskell Road.
Yep.
Which was Pedro's property, which the town, the school buses used and the plowing used as a turnaround, and it was actually paved when that road was paved. And also, so Pedro was saying that the town was using his property for all these years.
That's one thing. But
without
if you
permission.
say he applied for a permit and he got no results, whose fault is that then?
That's something that, we as a board, and we actually are looking at things in our, ordinance committee. But that, things happen and
It
we're
happens a
trying
lot.
to,
Happens a lot.
Mario,
I can
we're-
point out about 10 things where
we're,
it happens. So therefore, then you should do something about the code enforcement officer.
we are trying to move forward, starting with where we are now and move forward. We know that things have happened in the past. We can't fix everything that.
I agree.
Yeah.
But you
So
can't,
we're just trying to move forward, taking one item at a time. And,
On a case-by-case basis.
yeah,
I agree,
Yeah.
but you know, there's a saying, if you're in the hole, stop digging. But we stop digging deeper and deeper. That's the way I look at it. First, we eliminate the fine on log cabin. So basically, if I want to break the law, $2,000, no big deal. So you build the way you want to build. Now we build something without a permit, no big deal, because that's what I'm saying. Either we have some or we don't.
he had the permit to build the carport. And when he asked for the second permit, according to Pedro, he didn't have anybody respond. And so we're just trying to weigh both issues. We're also, as Lisa said, sensitive to the fact that we did use his turnaround for many years.
Yeah, okay, that's.
And we never got an easement, and we should have. Our lawyer had recommended that we do that, and so this way, Pedro's not going to
I have no
deal
problem
with
with
the
that. but
town,
then
and we will not
Our system
punish.
is no good. Simple as that.
So, Pedro, I'd like to go back to where I was with making a motion that we accept and sign this agreement. Are you okay with that?
I am okay, but as I said to you before, the language in it is not something that I agree with. It was meddled with by Tarbox, and I feel like that the way that he's subordinating the rest of the board by working behind your backs with the attorney when he said he had he recused himself from this. And we still have the issue here that we have a cabin built in shoreland zoning, okay, that I reported to you 2 weeks ago, and nobody has done anything about. And I have an email here from you because your attorney, Casafikis, which I apologize if I'm not saying his name correctly. You said, okay, I have it in front of me here, and I don't want us to be like saying that I don't remember stuff because I have the email right in front of me here and I can show it to people if I want to. Okay, so on February 6th, you said you would reach out to Attorney Casaficas to figure out why in the meeting minutes you wrote that the town had requested landowner permission to use the turnaround, when to this day I have not seen any documentation. So I am requesting, if you're not going to provide me that documentation, I am requesting that the meeting minutes to be amended from that date, because that has never happened. And I do not, because Jeff is all about facts. So that is a fact, that landowner permission has never been requested. So therefore, we need to amend those minutes. Okay, I can give you the date of those minutes because I have them right in front of me. 2023, January 2nd, Attorney Casaficas also responded to our question of whether the town's plowing, paving, and maintenance of the turnaround on Haskell Road established any property rights to the turnaround for the town. Casaficas responded that he did not think the town established any property rights because it was done with landowner's permission, which it was not. So we need to amend those minutes because they are not factual. And also, you said that Tarbox was going to walk out of the room during this conversation, and he's still here.
I asked you if you wanted me to ask him to leave, and
Well,
I didn't.
I want to vote for his resignation, so I do want him to leave because I do want to put that to a vote. I want to ask for his resignation. Either he can resign willingly, or I can ask for the board to vote on it.
That's not something that can be done in this situation.
All right, I'll work with the reporter then, if that's what you guys want to do.
So I'd like to continue to move to accept this, to see if we can accept this consent agreement.
That's fine. So long as we are aware that I do not agree with the language in it, I think it's colonizer language in there, and I do not agree with it.
And
I will sign it myself. I will sign it as well, but I do not agree with the language because it's not factual.
Yep, and April can capture that in our minutes.
Yep.
Okay, but I know we all want to bring closure to this, so.
I want to bring closure. I'm just saying that this is like a good old, it's like the good old days where, you know, the federal government forced Indian tribes to sign an agreement that basically is not factual. It's the same thing that's happening here. Tarbox meddled with the original agreements, which was factual, and changed it to be something that satisfies his ego instead. So that's what we're signing, and that's what I want to acknowledge.
So, and Jeff is recusing himself and I have not had conversations with him. So at least what
Donna
I
just
need,
shared this with me late this afternoon, so I haven't spoken to her all weekend about it either.
And I also want the town to know that all this could have been avoided, and we could have had this agreement on the first conversation I had with Jeff, but because his little authority that he has, and he wants to use it to cause other people pain, because he fast-tracked the permit when he was harassing the Longobards, he fast-tracked the permit for his brewery. 1 day turnaround in shoreline zoning. I just wanted to say for that, so that the voters know this is what the town is wasting its money on.
so Pedro, yeah, I think you've pretty much given us all of your issues. Thank you. So I'd like to make a motion that we
I have
accept
a
this.
few more issues.
Yes, if it's relevant to this
To
and
this,
not.
yes. Since our friend there wants to be nasty to my son, I would like to ask them, did he have a business permit to do business out of his house, to sell pizza on the street, what he did?
Yes, I did.
Okay, you had a catering permit when you went to Taste of Maine and to the.
Yes, I did. I had the permits for all the stuff. You can check with the health department. Also, I don't have a problem with Kyle. I don't have a problem with Kyle whatsoever. I believe the issue here, he just signed the application, but he used Jeff's business. Okay, it's not Kyle that I have an issue with. It's very clear. It's very clear that the issue here is Jeff. It's not Kyle.
Mario and Pedro, this is a conversation that you two can have afterwards. I want to focus solely on
Okay.
this consent agreement right now. And those issues, those are personal issues that you all have.
Still
I
consider the
just,
town, you just have to have a permit. The
Yeah,
sales
but
tax
the
to
taste
be,
domain is,
sales tax to be paid.
yep.
I have
Yeah.
permits. I had permits for everything. I had a mobile permit. I could set up anywhere.
Let's move the.
So
agreement.
I've made a motion that we accept this consent agreement. And I need a
I will
second,
second.
and all in favor.
Aye.
All right. Pedro, we're gonna sign this, and I know you're waiting until you have your permits approved, then we'll be all done with this, so, but I'm
I
gonna
will go
sign.
away and you'll never hear from me again, but I just want to make sure that those meeting minutes will be amended.
We will definitely revisit those.
Okay, then I'll be back next time, because I don't want to have to be back here if I don't have to. Can you just email me then, so that I don't have to come back and have another meeting? And let me know if you agree to amend?
What I can tell you is that we will revisit those minutes. I don't remember even who was there, so they'll have to be looked at. We can't just change the minutes without.
Well, how can I file so that it can be amended? Because I want the record to reflect the truth.
Pedro, why don't you email me exactly what you want changed? And I think, I'm not sure, I'll have to check with the MMA, but I believe perhaps the select board could vote to amend minutes, but I'm not sure. There's.
Sounds good. Because I'd rather not have to come back here and talk to anybody ever again. I'm selling the house. I will never be back in Maine, so everybody will be happy.
So we've signed the consent agreement. I'll make sure that April has it, and she'll send it on to Jim, who will then, I guess, deal with Peter and you, okay? All right, next on our agenda is a Greenleaf Road property cleanup, and that is with Chris. Chris? Would you like to actually introduce yourself? I don't know that everybody knows you.
My name is Chris Wormwood. I'm at 46 Greenleaf.
Oh, you are there. You live there.
Yes, I live there. Formerly, I believe it was the Baileys. So on that, I've given you guys a timeline and full estimation of everything.
So
I
maybe
think-
to start
I think
off with,
It's,
let's.
I read through it really quickly and it looks pretty comprehensive. And first of all, I just want to say thank you for being here. I know this has been, a tough situation for you and working with the town, and we appreciate the fact that you're, making an effort. So thank you.
The only thing I have is a request. I was gonna have a map. I tried to print it in my PDF file. For some reason, it wouldn't allow me to print it. So that it would show, I wanna put, which is in here, 2 10x17 portable garages and 2 10x10s. I've already measured out, they're within the parameters, it's just I couldn't print it,
Yeah,
so.
and I would suggest giving Gary a call and just
Yeah.
kind of letting him know what you want to do, and maybe have him come and see where you want to put them, and just get the clear with him.
Well, I marked some
Yeah.
pins or fiberglass rods,
Great.
Yeah.
kids broke them all, so.
But this looks like a good start, and we realize obviously weather and everything
Well,
else.
that's why I
So
factored
this,
in.
yeah.
I've actually
putting
been
the-
working in the garage,
Uh-huh,
because I've been going through, unfortunately, our house fire stuff,
yeah.
which takes up my whole upstairs,
Oh, wow.
so
Yeah,
we finally
so
are
I know,
dealing with that,
good,
so.
and so we appreciate it.
Do you have any questions or concerns from us?
No, I just wanna make sure that this is accepted. I don't know if we have to,
I think that we should actually make a motion to
Yeah.
accept your plan.
okay,
So I'd like to move that we accept Chris Wormwood's plan for taking care of his property. Do I have a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right.
would it be okay if I
yes.
excuse myself?
Yeah, we know you really want to hear the rest of these people, but yes, you
I haven't
can leave.
had supper yet,
Oh.
Go for it.
so,
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
coming in,
Thank you,
Chris.
Thank you, Chris.
thank you.
All right, we'll start with the Westport Island Community Association. Do we have anybody representing them?
We do, your honor. Got our song
And-
and dance routine all set.
And I want you two to speak up so that Charlotte can hear. Charlotte, who are you two?
We are, Max Kidmore and Debbie Lawrenson, president and co-president of the Westport Community Association.
Which one's president, which one's co-president? Are you both?
No, I guess I am, but Debbie was the
Vice
past
president,
president, so she automatically
Okay.
becomes the co.
All right, and basically what we've asked you to do is, the board would just like to have an update pretty much on, how things are going with you, some of the things that you've been doing, and, we've been asking every committee to do that, both the nonprofits and the regular volunteer committees, so thank you for
Okay.
coming.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
take it, Meg.
Well, just for a little history perspective, I'm fairly new to this committee, but going through all of the history notes and of the association and the dedication of all the people involved, it's been so impressive. I'm very glad to be a part of this, and I see what good they have done for this community. But since its inception in 1955, the WCA is a 501c charity, and I think it became so in 2017. Yeah, something like that. Yeah. And they strive to foster a sense of community by encouraging participation in various programs and activities. And it's on the bylaws, in fact, state to promote any project which furthers the best interests of the town of Westport. We changed our charter, I should say, I guess, last year, in that we no longer ask for memberships and dues. So everyone is essentially a member, and our effort is to provide these activities at no charge. But as a result, we did have to do a fundraising promotion in December, and that's worked out so well. We are a group of 15 with 4 new directors since 2021, and the energy and enthusiasm it's really fun to be a part of. So I'm going to defer to Debbie now as her involvement precedes mine.
Okay, I've been a member of WCA since the end of 2016, early 17, and co-president since then, since maybe 18. The WCA, one of the important parts of WCA are that the WCA owns and is the caretaker of the old community church, the upkeep, the maintenance, the insurance, and the improvements that need to be done. It was built in the 1800s, and the church has been a part of our community heritage since 1864. And in 2002 became listed on the National Register of Historic Places in the state of Maine. This is a treasured gem that will require costly improvements over time to keep for its preservation. In 2022, Christopher Mallet, if that's how you pronounce his name, excuse me, Christopher, of Long Cove Inspections, and he's also a Westport Island owner, lives on Cadell Point, did a complete inspection and documentation of this building. And WCA would like to, moving forward, utilize the church for more things coming into the future. It was used a lot in the past for church services, went for a long time. Then it became a church for WCA, church special thing. We haven't had one in a few years, since 2019.
Yeah.
And for concerts and special occasions, we'd like to put it to more use. We paid a nice chunk of change for insurance on it, and we'd like to bring it back and keep it in good shape.
And it's lovely. A
And
lot of
it's a
people have
great,
never
it's a
been
great
inside
spot.
of
There's
it.
many
it's
people on this
beautiful.
island
Yeah.
that got married there. Meg being one of them. One thing I wanted to say too, you were gonna talk about
Yeah.
the scholarship program. I'll let you do it.
Oh, okay. Well, one of our largest expenditures is the funding of our student award program, now called the Ruth Nelson Scholarship. And we offer up to $500 awards for those residents pursuing either a post-secondary degree, training, trade school, certification, whatever that may be. And this year, we had about 12 recipients, totaling about $6,000. It is a sizable expenditure, but I think it's exciting. I think we should showcase these kids and what they're doing, because it's been kind of fun. And we're gonna try to mention all of those recipients in future newsletters and let people know, where they're going in their careers. All right, Deb, you're on.
Okay, beginning in the early COVID years, our monthly newsletter was started by Rose Bodmer for the purpose of keeping the community connected during times where we couldn't have our programs and our events. It's proved to be an excellent means of informing Islanders of local issues and events and introducing historical property, showcasing residents, and promoting community pride. The WCA would like to continue this, but help is needed at this time to keep it going. Perhaps we would do it quarterly, perhaps WCA maintaining it. But we need somebody to help out. And I just wanted to just talk about some of the things that we have done this year. Over this past year, we had a chili cook-off that was very successful. We did 2 game afternoons and a movie night in January and February to get people out a little bit when they were so locked in, the weather.
So that was last February, right?
That was last
Okay.
February. And April, last year and this coming year is, we're going to have another pancake breakfast, which is always popular. And our next one is on April 20th. The May Spring Fling Dance was held last year with the DJ and lots of fun to be had. June, we had a plant sale, and thanks to Mary Denzer and crew, made some funds for WCA because that's what we rely on. We rely on the community and people with donations to run WCA and pay all those insurance policies that we have to have. July's island-wide yard sale had over 30 locations this past year. The year before that was 40-something locations. So, and these are things that we'll just have to decide whether or not we're gonna go ahead and have them again this year, depending on if people want to, and we have enough people to participate. June's annual meet and greet with local brews, wines, and charcuterie boards, headed up this year by Rose, was a great coming together of our community, and we hope to continue that. In the fall, in August, we had a rock and roll concert under the stars at the Ferry Landing, and we've already booked to have our band from 2 years ago come back for this year, so it was great and a lot of fun. Gets everybody out and coming together. This year's Halloween was a little bit different. Our inside party that we had planned to the last minute because of our terrible tragedy. We kind of canceled a little bit and just gave out candy to the children out in front of the old town hall instead, and then had a Lewiston special candlelight service after that. In December, we had a holiday ornament making and tree lighting event. And then in 2024, of course, we've already started off the year with our chili cook-off.
Our second annual.
And our second annual, yeah, and we had between 60 and 70 people come to that, so I guess that's moving forward, that'll be something we'll keep. And then we had a Valentine dance,
Let's not talk about that.
but it was a little disappointing in numbers showing up.
April and John are there.
great time.
That's right, that's right.
Friends, they brought their kids, I brought my kids.
Fun.
Yeah.
Well,
We
we'll
missed
see.
a couple of you.
And Meg, I'll let you.
Okay,
jump in there.
so anyway, that's a lot of activities,
Yeah.
We were talking to April the other day, and we're trying to recruit her because we like young, youthful ideas.
I'm recruited, I can do it.
Yeah. She's in, love it, okay. So December, we sent out a donation letter, and we hadn't done that in many years, I
Yeah.
guess. And we sent out about
Since before COVID.
500 or something. And we were very excited to learn that as of today, we've taken in $8,245. So that's gonna help us continue the scholarships plus fund more activities. So our goals right now are to greater turnout for activities, better promotion. April came up with some good ideas as to sort of, throwing the net a little wider, maybe Wiscasset, maybe, just advertising, just to get the interest going. I'd like to get more community feedback. April does print out the email monthly, and she's really good about mentioning our activities. So we've also put our email address in there so that people, if they have an idea, can just email us.
Nice.
And if you agree, maybe we could have a small suggestion box somewhere here that people come for. Well, some of the future ideas, we have time, I'll go really quickly. We were talking about in the future, trying to showcase some island artists and art and crafters, because boy, we've got a lot of good ones, and having, showcase using the church and the town hall. I'd like to consider some outdoor activities. We talked about involving families, maybe some competitive softball games, kids, South End versus North End. Water sports, I mean, we have that, beautiful ferry landing. I don't know if it's safe for kayaking, but, maybe something, yacht club, I don't know, something, but,
Kayak club.
lobster crate races with Lincoln's help. We're talking about, community garden, whether or not that will be a WCA or maybe a subcommittee, I'm not sure. Maybe art classes, woodworking. We used to have an annual barbecue, which was very well attended, but unfortunately, it called for a great deal of time and work, and the firemen were doing it with us, but it was just too much time and money too. Right, that's right, Mara, Mary was cooking for it. So, we're thinking maybe we should think about a scaled down version of that, maybe bring in a food truck or whatever, but have games for the kids and still having the same spirit of things, and maybe in midsummer, bringing in summer and winter folks together. That's all I got, yeah.
That's all I got too.
Wow.
Sorry.
That's- No, that's.
Oh, thank you.
I think it's important for people to realize just how much
Can I
WCA
Just
does.
ask about the auction that you were doing?
The yard sale?
The auction.
The
Oh, well, the auction.
Yeah,
Oh, the auction at this point has been placed on hold. The last one we had, the last month we had, which was in the month of October.
Yeah, right, the online auction.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
online auction.
People weren't promoting anything to auction off, that was the big
Yeah,
stuff.
okay, that was.
So, and Rose kept, soliciting, irons, but if it's not there, we can't, there's no, so we're just gonna.
But
put
when
it
you
up.
had things, did you have a decent response to it, or?
We did, and probably the same people were.
But unfortunately, it would only be like 3 or 4 items,
Yeah.
so they would sell, and it was very nice, and Rose set us up with a great system, so. You have an idea.
You have to come to my attic.
So you have that jinx.
Yeah.
I'm
gonna bring it up.
That sounds great. See, Mary's got great ideas for us too. Yeah, I mean, that's a
Anyway,
fun
so
idea.
we hope that will, in the future,
feel like
Lisa,
that's
that we
kind
will
of-
continue
yeah.
doing that
Kind of an
periodically,
easy way to,
but to do
somewhat of
it
an easy way
every
to make
single
money.
month,
Yeah,
It's too much.
it's a lot,
it's
it's
too
a lot,
much.
yeah. Well, maybe, make it special and do it like twice a year and make it a
Yeah,
big one.
Right.
Yeah,
And people can
because I
be,
think it's,
we
yeah,
probably all told brought in. 500? 500?
maybe.
A few hundred,
Yeah.
a few hundred.
But
But
Great.
anyway, we got lots of good ideas.
Well,
and
thank you.
We're welcoming more too.
And it sounds like you're gonna go see Mario and go find out what he has. All right,
See what he's cooking up.
yeah. All right, thank you so very much.
You're so
That,
very
that
welcome.
is great. We're gonna go to our next, report, which is the Friends of Westport Island History Committee.
in the front row.
Yes, perfect.
Better to see and hear you.
What's that?
Better to see and hear you.
Okay.
And who are you?
I'm Mary Ellen Barnes. I'm chair of the Friends of Westport Island History, and we have a shorter history than the Community Association, but they were our historians back in the 50s and 60s and 70s.
Oh,
So, and. So we, we have
Thank
a
you,
short
Meg.
history, but just for clarification, so I know a couple of you folks haven't followed, the track here, and I have some notes, well, no, I guess that's a short part of notes. So we started as a nonprofit in the fall of 2018. So we became an IRS certified nonprofit and also incorporated in the state of Maine. So we have a board of trustees, we did the fascinating work of creating bylaws, so we have a board of trustees. But most of the folks who have been involved with Friends were involved for years in the history committee. So, and it continues, so there's overlapping membership, which makes it fun in a small town. You gotta get things done that way. So, I know we didn't go into the space, Lisa, the other day, but the history committee had been keeping the archives of the town in a small closet. I don't know if it's a parallelogram, it's not a triangle, it's an odd shaped space. And we filled it with preservation materials, for probably since 2005. And at some point, I don't know if Jeff remembers, but we started to put stuff on the floor, which really makes it an unbearable situation. So there's two things that come out of that. One is people didn't donate stuff to us anymore because they knew we didn't have the space. And they knew we were in a horrible humidity, temperature, situation there. So I think in 2015 or 2016, we started thinking seriously about how we can bring more resources to not only improve the spatial situation there, but also volunteers, public exhibits, things like that. So we spent a lot of time, 2018, 2019, developing the idea of the Friends. We worked hand in hand with the history committee. We spent countless hours of meetings, kind of coordinated by Mary Coventry, looking at how the two groups could work together. And we developed a memorandum of understanding, which of course is what everyone wants, right? A memorandum of understanding. But anyway, it's very essential to be clear about what's the history committee's responsibilities and interests, what's the Friends' purposes, things like that. So this was signed, I think, in 2020, signed by also the board of selectmen at the time. So there was full agreement. Because a lot of what we were doing was leading up to the movement of the archival space from the closet to the Wright Landing House. So that meant working with Richard DeVries and his committee and working with the selectmen on an ongoing basis. So there's a lot of coordination that was going on at the time. I don't think we drove each other crazy, but it took a lot of time to develop these things. So I can share this with you. I can maybe email this so you have an understanding.
That'd be great.
We haven't updated it in a couple of years, so I don't think anything material has changed, but I think it will show that the district committee focuses on, I'm gonna say preservation and education, sorry, Mark, and the Friends focuses on expanding resources, whether it's financial or volunteers. And so because it's a small town, we meet at the same time, we meet together, the history committee meets at 4:30 and then the Friends group picks up when they're done. So obviously it helps make best use of our time here because of our shared interest there. I think, I think what the Friends wanted to do was just to be the nonprofit entity that could go for grants, that could do fundraisers. We haven't grown as much as we'd like to grow, and some of the grants we went for in 2019 or 2020, it was affected by the pandemic. We were applying to entities that all of a sudden changed their priorities. So I don't know that we've written a grant since then, but anyway, we were intending to have some of the work grant funded. So in a way that I don't have details right now, but we share the expenses of the History Center. So, with the Helping Hands, and with the town. So the town pays for, let's say, the structure of the building, and we paid for UV filters on the windows in order to preserve items. I can't remember if there's something else we paid for, but we're splitting it, electrical costs, internet costs, other things like that.
Pretty much all the operating costs of the house are covered by the Friends.
So we can provide more data if you want to see a better breakdown of that, but I think it's worked out pretty well. And we can have we've got the heat pumps there, so we're able to control the humidity and temperature there, and they seem to be working out the last couple of years, they seem to be working out pretty well. So our funding is diverse. Again, I think we've grown what I would say right now, maybe 10 or $15,000, I forgot what the actual budget is. It's not always as high as we'd like it to be in terms of donations and things like that, but member donations, membership is important for us. Other kind of gifts are important. You might know that Ken Shepherd has made a gift of a new website for us, so we're working with his son on a new website, which will be a great venue for sharing Westport history. We were using the town's website for a few years and then trying to have one of our own, and we just have so much to share with the work that we're doing down there with Gay Wagner and others who are doing a great job of scanning, getting things into a catalog sort of platform. We wanna just go, bananas with a new website. We're hoping that will be happening this spring. And that came from a special gift. And then we have our summer gala, which I think is gonna be July. I forgot the dates, but we've done that for 3 or 4 years, and that's a major fundraiser for us, so we also help to promote books, so we sell a lot of books, and some of the income goes to the history committee, some of the income goes to friends, depending on who made the purchases of things, so we try to keep things straight here. It can be confusing at times, but we have a good bunch of people to work together. So I know we're kind of young, if there's questions that you have about how we operate, we meet the last Wednesday of every month at the History Center, and we also have volunteers who keep the History Center open every Sunday of the year, particularly now that the Patriots are tanked. But we were able to keep it open, because we have volunteers who are going to do that work, so.
I will tell you that a couple weeks ago, Jean and Joan came.
Yeah.
And they showed us some of the archive materials, the scanned materials. It was unbelievable.
The catalog.
Yeah,
Yeah.
unbelievable the amount. We're just trying to figure out a way that we can share that and make sure that others know that.
Well, it should be, so we can make it shareable for sure. Also, that is an expense that the town history committee pays for. Is that right, Jeff?
That's right.
That's one. But also, we're hoping to just go live when we get the website ready, and things will get on there.
Great.
Marilyn said, things are kind of a mix. So basically, it's two, pretty much mostly the same group of people, but two directions coming together to support the town history. Because the Friends is a membership organization.
Right.
So we generate more resources and energy. Part of the reason for starting it was to get more volunteer energy.
Yeah.
And we've been successful in doing that.
Yeah, I do want to just give credit to people who were around in early days for me, 2005 or so. So Bill Cooney, Judy Hughes, Sandy Busecker, Debbie Williams, they've all been part of the group of the history committee that's helped continue this effort here, because the town owns all those items. So then that's an important responsibility here, but it's also an expensive responsibility. So the $500 or so that for years has been the archival supply thing, that couldn't get spent like that. If you've seen our gray archival boxes there, you can see how we store everything with some good order there. But we really felt that the Friends could be a useful partner in this, so, yeah.
Great. Any questions or comments for Mary Ellen?
There is the first Bible of the Squire Tarbox Inn is at the Tarbox Inn. I'm sure she's not going to use it. And there's a contract for a schooner that Samuel Tarbox bought to transport ice to Boston. And I just left it there.
Okay.
I'm sure if you approach Lisa.
Lisa's talked about something. She also had, I guess, some contracts relating to the inn itself, the construction. But she has in the past made some indication about donating.
It's just laying around there. I mean, I left it there. I had it.
Okay. And also the Community Association, was a really important group that got founded in 1955. Debbie Williams's mother and other that earlier generation, not really, really were active in preserving things. B. Harriman, and that generation of historians, the Swanton parents, if you will, of John, Jack, and Ken, very vital to this. And it was all done through the organization of the Community Association back in the 50s and 60s. So again, things grow. They grow in funny ways, good ways, partnership ways. So again, credit to Richard DeVries and that team of the Right Landing Committee. Oh my God. They renovated so many issues, the floor, the walls, the ceilings of the History Center now, so.
It's great. Any other comments? Mary Ellen, thank you very, very
Thank
much.
you very much. If you have any questions,
Yeah.
just let me know, and I'll send you this memorandum of
Yeah,
understanding
that'd be great.
for your reading.
It looks like you had some brochures or
I
something.
do.
I think we have an audience right there. I don't want you to have to take those home.
No, yeah, Jean and David were not like that, so.
No.
Yeah.
Yep. Very good thing. All right, you guys already got this in the mail.
And Lincoln and Nick, I won't be offended that you guys don't have your own brochures.
Okay, appreciate that.
All right, how about the Shellfish Committee? Would you like to give us an update on what you're doing?
Sure, Lincoln Richardson, Shellfish Committee Chair, and I got Nick Fagan, member of the committee with me. This will be a two-part version of what we've been doing in McCarty Cove, which has been our primary focus for the past 4 years. I've started a permit for the Army Corps of Engineers for another netting for clam seed on May 4th, 2024. Our intentions are 75,000 clams to put in. And I've got the approval from the Army Corps of Engineer. I'm just waiting for the 2 state permits, which is the closure of McCarty Cove and the approval for the seed. We had a green crab grant that I'm gonna let Nick Fagan explain, because him and Neil took a big part in that, so he has most of the details on it.
Yeah, we received a small mini grant from the, we received a mini grant from the Maine Department of Marine Resources last spring to help us with trying to explore the green crab problem in McCarty Cove especially. I think those of the people I've known who were on the island a long time say that there was a time when you could walk down to the dock and get mussels and go down to the beach and get clams, and they're mostly gone. Now you'll get green crabs, predatory species and invasive species. And we're trying to figure out how to control that. Neil Stanton and I 2022 did some exploratory trapping in McCarty Cove to protect the seeding that Neil talked about. And based on that, we got a mini grant last spring from the state to expand that program. So Neil and we hired Elijah DiPietro to help us. And we captured about 29,000 green crabs in McCarty Cove over the course of the summer.
Wow.
Who counted all those?
Well, we took turns.
It's a joint effort.
Thankfully, neither Neil nor I are as young as we used to be, but Elijah is young and strong. So he did the work, and the crabs were donated to the farm as compost.
Oh, interesting.
So there's something we can do with green crabs. You can make a compost with them.
Well, we can do that. It's not very economic, and that's the issue here. So we're exploring a lot of things. The Department of Marine Resources also did some monthly surveys in both McCarty Cove and Fowles Point Cove as a comparison. There's some evidence that we had a pretty substantive impact on the green crabs in McCarty Cove, but we surely did not eliminate them.
How big are they? Green crabs.
The babies are
Wow,
tiny. The biggest ones maybe about that size.
it's not really that big.
They're not huge, and the problem is economically is there's not enough meat in them to really be economic for eating. They're
Right.
not like the crabs and the Chesapeake. The soft shell version are a specialty, but it's incredibly labor intensive to figure out. And they're cannibalistic, so you have to separate them and wait for them to mold and check them twice a day. And then find a restaurant that actually serves them, which is a specialty in Venice, but not so far on Westport Island. And there is an Asian market for the adult green crabs, but again, very small in Maine. There is a market as well to donate them for dog food. But they want them in vast quantities and then they want them shipped to like Rhode Island. So we haven't really figured out the economics of how to pursue this going forward. Neil and I are making a presentation to the Fisherman's Forum in 2 weeks. We have a little money left from the grant for which Lincoln will decide what we're gonna do with.
The committee will.
But we're looking for volunteers to help us to keep it going, because it's, we paid Elijah. But Neil and I were volunteering and, we need help to keep this program going.
It's a lot of work, trapping green crabs. Also, I have one question concerning I talked with, Katie Tilton, who's a science biologist from the state. Julie Casson used to be our selectman council rep, needed somebody from the working with the town. So we need someone to replace her, so I'm wondering if, Donna, you were on the committee once, if you'd like to.
I was.
If you'd be interested, or if April would like to take that position.
Let's think about it.
Sure.
Lisa might like to get her.
Yeah, what is the,
That's all it is a council representative for the committee. Just oversees anything that the state might have in question.
and they meet, is that the kind of thing you go to meetings for that, or?
You don't have to, but as long as you're, available
Yeah,
to
yeah,
us.
okay.
Like, there's like a regular report, annual report that goes back to the Department of Marine Resources, yeah,
Annually, every year.
yeah. So there's some paperwork that's involved, yeah.
Yeah, I pretty much take care of the paperwork except for the budget type of it, so.
Is that a different report than the one I do? I do a couple a year.
You do the budget and, I take care of the license allocation and any questions regarding any of our events.
Yeah, and that's a separate report than this person would do, this position?
I don't think they have a
They
report.
don't have a report, okay.
So it might be that April's already doing that,
Or
although
aren't
I,
doing it, yeah.
yeah. I have two questions for you, or two comments. One, Nick, I'm listening to you talk about those green crabs and I'm thinking that'd be a beautiful article for the WCA newsletter. I think it would be great for the rest of the community to know about this, so maybe you could work on that? Or if you have a report or something that you submitted, maybe we could get hold of it and,
Yeah, Neil has prepared a slide presentation for the Fisherman's Forum and we can probably turn it into an article.
And it might be a good way to get volunteers
Yeah,
to help
Yeah,
at the
that'd be
same
yeah,
time.
yeah.
I think
especially
we'd like
'cause
to
you're
see it,
asking. Yeah.
something that maybe to post,
Yeah,
to hear about it.
Yeah,
Yep.
we would love some additional help.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Very much.
right now, we're sort of collecting articles is what Holly and I are doing,
Oh, okay.
Debbie.
I'll talk to Neil about turning that into a presentation.
Yeah, I mean, just a
Yeah.
picture of a green crab and it's just all around us and nobody knows really what's going on here, which is why it's so great that you guys are here.
And convince everybody how tasty they are.
That's right.
I tried to cook some and my wife threw me out of the kitchen.
Once they become a market, there can be money made from it and it'll take care of itself. because people will
Exactly,
Get
yeah.
a license and crap.
Yeah, it's
Mm.
like lobsters used to be just for the poor
Yeah.
people and now it's like you can't, a poor person couldn't afford it.
That's right.
But I do have a question for you, Lincoln, as chair, and that is, I know you said you're getting 75,000 clams. I won't ask you how you counted those, but I'm assuming that the money that you're getting to pay for those are out of the licenses that you, and does all that money go to you as a committee? You pretty much, I know it's a town's money, but
It is.
that's what you're using to,
Yes,
to
all
do.
the money that we get from licenses go back to seed.
Yeah.
Yep.
So one of the, I guess, the objective of the project, the grant, was to evaluate this method.
Mhm.
And do you have conclusions or is this still a work in progress?
We took a survey before we seeded, after we seeded in 2022, we took a survey last year. And we're taking another survey this spring with a new seed in there to see if we have any improvement.
Okay.
And we send that data to the state and they'll send the results back to us.
And who do you survey?
McCarty Cove, where we've been seeding,
Yeah, who are you surveying, or how do you survey?
we survey by taking a 1 foot by 1 foot plot and digging all the clams out of it, counting the clams, and then we mark it down on a piece of paper, and then after we do like probably 30 or 40 plots, we'll send that information to the state. And they give us a guesstimate on how many clams we have per
Okay.
square foot.
Gotcha.
They actually put a grid in the
Yeah,
middle of
I
it.
would imagine,
Green
yeah.
grass,
That's
so they
neat.
get in
Because I
there
did
and
that
eat 'em
before.
all.
That's the problem.
Yeah, well, okay, fingers crossed that you're making a difference. I think that's what everyone wants to see. Is this a methodology that might help?
We'll know a little better after this next survey, whether our clams will survive. And I walked through there last week and I saw a lot of dead shells that were clams the size of 3/4 inch to inch and a quarter. So I don't know if the storm shook them up or what happened. I don't know, because the green crabs just aren't moving right now. So, those 2 southeast storms that we had in December might have shaken them out.
Mhm.
Mm.
And I wonder if, right now you're doing a lot of work trying to capture those green crabs and, you think you're making progress, and if you don't do anything for a year or two, does that mean that it's all back to what it was before?
I've
Is
talked to a
this-
few people that are doing the same thing, they have their own clam plots, and, he said that what he's doing is, he'll put his nets down before he puts the seed in, and they'll throw a crab trap under there, a small one. And any crabs that are living in the mud will go into the trap, the bait, of course. He'll remove the crabs out and then put the seed under, and he said after that, he said leave the nets there until December, and you should be all set,
Good, hopefully,
hopefully, right?
yeah.
But every area is different.
We got 29,000 out of one cove, so you see a sense of the scale of the problem, and that's just one cove on the island.
Yeah.
Powell's Cove is even bigger.
I think to make it work, this is not a one-off thing. It's
No,
gotta
no.
be continual
Mm.
and bigger scale, and we've got to figure out how to make it economic to do that.
The real trick is finding a use for those green crabs.
Yep.
Cause
In the
then,
market.
yep, exactly. Yep, they did that with kudzu down in Georgia, and, helped a little bit at least. All right, any other comments or questions for these 2 gentlemen? No. Great, thank you so much, you 2, for coming,
Thank you.
very interesting. We're gonna go to, I think roads actually connects with the ordinance committee.
A little bit.
All right, so why don't we start,
Mark, were you here for anything else or just to listen tonight? Did you have an issue?
Which,
You, Mario?
about what?
About,
No,
you-
I'm just keeping in
okay,
company, make sure.
that's fine, just,
That's all.
we took up one citizen's issue, we didn't,
that's right, I didn't ask, my bad. Yeah, so I didn't ask, were there any citizens issues? I knew there was one.
I don't know if Mario needs you to ask, I think.
I think so, yeah, yes, you're right. Mario would just let me know. All right, I think we're gonna go to, John.
Yeah, I was just gonna give an update on the LD 2003 ordinance.
Well, I
That'd
was
be-
just gonna
that'd be
say
great,
that's,
yeah. You can
yeah.
do
so
the
you
ordinance review committee since I missed the last meeting.
Yeah, all right, so that's where I was gonna go next, is an update on the ordinance committee, so take it, John.
Oh, okay, well, I don't wanna preempt Jim.
No, go ahead, Joe.
Okay, well, this isn't as exciting as green crabs or history, and certainly the WCA. But anyway, here's the update, first on LD 2003. We're up to 9 drafts. I'll get the 9th draft out probably Wednesday. And we're having a meeting of the planning board on the 28th to finalize that. And everybody realizes it's time to just kick it out the door. So I think we're at a point where we're ready for you all to give us a date for a public hearing. And we'll work toward that date in terms of preparing a presentation and thinking about other ways to educate the town about the ordinance, the proposed ordinance, and the issues related to it. But we made some wonderful progress, and I think at the end of the day, it's going to be a fizzle instead of a bang. I think, you know, it's just gonna prove to be not as interesting as it started out to be, which is a good thing. And then on the ordinance, the one ordinance we've been working on started as a junkyard ordinance and morphed into a nuisance ordinance. We're also literally on the final draft of that. I got some new edits from Rod and from
Chris.
just in the last 2 days. So, and those edits are, you know, how about this ordinance or that word? So in terms of the concept and the direction, we're done. We're just finalizing it, and we just need a date or whatever date the ordinance committee is gonna meet again. I think we.
I think you said the 27th.
27th?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I think it was 2 weeks from
Good.
last
So,
week.
so I'm anticipating we'll finalize that on the 27th too. And then what, if there are other ordinances we wanna look
I
at?
think the other ones are a lot easier to deal with. We had the dog, dog
Right.
control, animal control, ordinance, which is pretty straightforward.
Well, we've become so experienced now at drafting and working through the nits and the gnats that I think
Yeah.
that might go very quickly.
Yeah, there's a lot to, now it's, that, the nuisance was the big one, now it's all the little things like we talked about, even just changing the building code ordinance name to land use ordinance, and little things that we kind of have to sort of organize going through, but that nuisance ordinance was the really big one.
Well, and we haven't talked about this, but I was planning to take that on as my next project to rework the ordinances into a comprehensive package instead of kind of a vulcanized collection that we have right now.
You mean the building code?
Everything.
ordinance? Yeah,
Everything.
I mean, Bob Mooney's been doing a lot of work on that, yeah.
Yeah.
And he's got his thoughts on that also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mario, you had a comment or question?
Yeah, I think by doing this new ordinance, the key is really that there's some bite to it. Not that it's a matter of, well, my interpretation is like that, and our interpretation is like that. I think it should be clear cut. I mean, there's exceptions, but having read some of the stuff, the old stuff, there's a lot of,
That's why
I say
we're,
this and you say this, you know?
yeah, that's why we're doing this work, and I thank Lisa for taking the lead on that, and John, I know you've done a whole ton of stuff. And
It's a really great group.
Yep.
That we're working with.
Jim.
We've already seen examples of, here's an ordinance that's cut and dry, people don't follow the ordinance, things get sketchy. Any ordinance, there should be, this is the penalty if this ordinance is broke,
Mhm.
because without that, you might as well not even have an ordinance.
Exactly, exactly,
Right. I think that's what Mario's saying.
Yep.
Right, and same with the road ordinance, if there's not gonna be any penalty, there's no point in pursuing it any further.
Right.
Whether a penalty is, you're not gonna get a building permit or a plumbing permit from the town until this is done, or it's gonna be $25 a day until this is rectified, or both, or some
Mhm.
combination. I don't think it should be staggering, but I think we need some teeth there to
Mhm.
make it work.
Honestly, going forward, that's what we hope for, and that's what we're working towards. Is sort of more of a, it's fair and comprehensive, you know.
I don't know how
Execution of-
Westport is, Wisconsin, you go up and get a book of ordinances all in one, it's very, you know, it's everything they got, you gotta buy it, but. So,
Yeah.
Ours are on the website, but it's not as easy to do as Wisconsin's made it, tried to be, I think, business friendly by packaging it up.
yeah, I was just curious if Westport's was all in one bundle where,
Well,
sounds like that's what
I-
John wants to do.
I actually had an idea that I thought was might work is some sort of especially for new homeowners that are moving, buying property on the island, is some sort of like a pamphlet that kind of explains, you know, the hows and whys, not the ordinances themselves, but the process, or if you, you know, just, so it's right there, so somebody, I know it's old school pamphlet, right?
Well,
Nobody
it's
does things on
user-friendly, it makes
papers,
it-
but, you know,
Yeah.
some sort of a concise, a more user-friendly way of talking about permitting and what you need to, you know, get permission for, basically.
Like a checklist and a series of events, you know.
Yeah, and I don't know if currently, I don't think so, but I don't think we can fill out a building permit online.
No.
Yeah, and I think that kind of needs to be able to be done. I don't think people should have to physically come here and get a permit. I know, no, have it both ways, but because the town's only open a certain amount of days in the week at certain hours and people can't get here and they can't get a permit, I think that's another thing that should be able to,
Gives you a good track record.
online, yeah.
People who say they applied on.
Yes.
You can
Yep.
print out the building permit from the website, but you have to fill it all in manually
Mm,
and then,
Still a
and then
hard
turn it
copy.
in here.
yeah,
Yeah, I think it needs to come here, same with this proposed driveway
oh,
ordinance.
100%, yeah,
You know, make the forms available online, but they have to be returned here like a plumbing permit, you can't, you gotta pay money, so you have to do it in person. And I don't see any reason why you couldn't do that. If you're planning on building a house or replacing your septic system, you can take 5 minutes to stop in the town office.
okay.
John, you had a comment?
What happens if somebody's not living here, but their contractor is working here and,
Well, that's the same thing, the contractor can get a septic
Yeah.
permit for
Yeah, no, I know.
applying, and the same with this, and I've made that very clear in there, that the
Mhm.
landowner or their representative.
What some folks do is, if they're building a house, is they'll do a power of attorney to the general contractor
Mhm,
to represent them. But
right,
again, people can mail the building permit in with the
But it
payment.
would be no big deal to make it all online. I mean, today, everything is done online.
Yeah.
I pay online, I do everything I bank online. So I think it's just a matter that's gonna come one day.
It will one day.
Yeah.
We,
April's working on it.
yeah, we looked at this, a couple, I guess actually, we're looking at websites, possibly buying one. And just talking with other towns, the part of the difficulty, you can have the online application, but then you had to work into the payment. And hadn't quite been there, but it's just regular business.
Yeah, no, you have records, you don't have to worry and.
April, you had a comment and then back to John.
I was just gonna say, it would be totally possible to do all this online, and, I'm working on the website, I don't have enough hours in my work week to really do it as fast as we all want it done, but we're getting pretty close to being able to transition, and, Google Forms or some kind of online form will definitely be a part of that platform. We'll get the website up and then we'll just start adding that stuff as we go.
John?
Yeah, I was just gonna close out my report. Probably the most significant event, our last meeting was, the resignation of, Rich Lawrenson as the chair. Somebody's going to be, missed, sorely missed. Just in the short time I've been there, it's clear his leadership and his knowledge have been, instrumental in providing this community with an outstanding planning board, direction and execution and management of the land use regulations. So I don't speak for the board, but just as one voice, we're gonna miss him and hope we'll be able to continue to draw on his expertise and advice and counsel as we move forward, because we still need him. So anyway, thank you.
Great, thank you.
Nice
Did
job.
you have anything to add to the, all right, roads.
Nothing really to report on. I talked to Dale today. What snowstorm Saturday night, a little snowstorm Thursday. Yeah, Saturday night was just crazy.
that was weird, yeah.
Yeah.
Obliterating.
Mario's partially here because he's disgruntled with me because I haven't moved his sign yet. I got frost in the ground, I'm gonna take care of him as soon as I can. So the roads have been quiet, there's been no southeast storms at 80-mile-an-hour winds and 3-foot tide surge and whatnot. So that just leaves me with a very, as April has seen my work before, a very rough draft of a proposed driveway entrance
Yeah, maybe
permit
that's
process.
part of what the ordinance committee was working on. Do you wanna just explain why you particularly feel like we need that ordinance for entryways?
We need this ordinance, for the protection of the town. There's one particular driveway in town that was installed roughly in 2000 that never should have been allowed. It's caused nothing but problems. There's problems up there right now. These problems would be very expensive to rectify at the town's expense from a private driveway that was not installed with logic. It was trying to save money. And there was no ordinance, so they didn't violate any ordinance because there was none. That's what I'm trying to prevent from happening in the future. Nothing too restrictive, nothing that costs people money, just a process, because sometimes having your driveway here is a lot better than having it here when they want it. Better for the town, better for them. Culvert size and maintenance of the driveway so the water runs off rather than running to the town road. Running into the town road causes a lot of erosion. At this particular driveway I'm thinking of, a lot of erosion. The top of that culvert was higher than the road itself. So the grader hooked the culvert and part of the culvert's up the road. All the water has nowhere to go but onto the road because it comes like this down to the road. And we don't want that in the future. They should have spent the money to blast. And I ain't saying a negative grade from the road, but they could have made it a lot more beneficial to the town and themselves. And now it's all falls onto the town because there's an issue there that needs to be addressed. And there's ledge, so it will not be a cheap fix to make it right. We can go up there and do the standard patch, but which I'll have to do this summer, but I'm not really, there's no future in that
Right, it's just
long term.
going forward, avoiding those
Trying
kinds of
to, right,
situations.
trying to avoid those situations in the future. That's really all it amounts to.
Yep.
Yeah, and I know you've been talking about this for a year now, so I'm glad that there's an ordinance being written on that.
I just need a wordsmith,
Yeah,
like,
I'll take a look at it,
I see 3 of them right here.
Yep, yep. A lot of Smiths around here.
Yeah, and I do have a specimen application, as you've seen, Jesse, that we could, I would be comfortable
Using it,
duplicating for
Okay.
Westwood.
Makes it easy.
And by the way, I've noticed that Dale continues to post on Facebook periodically, and great to see. It's like sunset's coming up, beautiful view, and he just lets us know that he's
He's
out
there.
checking the roads, and
Oh, yeah.
I think that's really good.
We stay in close contact. The other announcement is I did post the roads for weight limit
Oh, yeah, I saw
this
that,
last week.
yeah.
And
I've
you
had several calls already. And state law is if it's below freezing, heavy loads can go on the road. If it's 9 o'clock in the morning and it's 31 degrees, that doesn't mean it's all right for heavy load because it's 31 degrees. Yes, it's below freezing, but 80,000 pounds on a road that's at 31 degrees.
Does there have to be a set amount of days that it's above freezing before you do that? Cause I mean, the temperature kind of
Right.
fluctuates a lot,
No,
so how
it's
do you?
just by, if it's,
We had a couple of really warm days,
Right.
right?
but if tomorrow morning it's 25 degrees until 9 o'clock, then they could get a load of cement or 2 loads of cement
See,
in.
do you have to put them up and take them down?
No, they go up and it says right on them
Yeah.
what the law is. And they stay up until I feel the frost is out of the ground. Last year, they came down, I thought fairly early, I think it was April 5th or so that I took them down.
Okay.
But anybody in the business knows, what's kind of irritating is everybody in the business knows this happens every year. We don't put trucks on, myself, put trucks on posted roads unless it's below freezing, which we don't even typically do that. Because we know it happens every year. Certain heat and oil, plow trucks, milk trucks, there's certain exemptions. But cement trucks and dump trucks, there's no exemption, it's gotta be below freezing. Or they shouldn't be on the road, it's a violation of the law, and the fine starts at 23,000 pounds, so if you weigh 80,000 pounds, you're gonna be looking at a $4,000 or $5,000 fine.
Wow, need to make sure we catch a few people.
Who?
Yeah, state gets money,
Oh,
because they're the only ones that can enforce it.
yep,
Yeah.
yep, which
They're
is
the
one of
only
the
ones with
problems.
scales that can prove that it was.
So Jim, so someone knows they've got a delivery coming, and it's gonna, unfortunately gonna come on a common carrier, so it's gonna be a pretty big truck. Can they use that rule if it's below, freezing, it's been below freezing, gonna be below freezing that day? Can they tell the driver, you're probably okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
Cause I think that's, at this stage of the game, there's probably still gonna be stuff going on for the next month and a half, 2 months.
Oh, yeah, there's a project pending down East Shore Road, and I've dealt with this contractor last year, he's good to deal with, he listens to me. I feel, I told him, I said, if it's below freezing, go for it. If it's not, don't make me come down now. And stay off the new hot top when the southern end.
So should people call you to double check, or do you want,
Yes.
okay,
That's what I've been telling people.
Great, great.
If they have any question, if there's any question, I'll call me.
Somebody told me that East Shore Road was not posted.
A couple people have mentioned that to me. The main road, the end of the state road at Upper West Shore Road is posted, and Upper West Shore Road is posted. So there's no place south of there that you can go without breaking the law if it's above freezing.
Even without it being posted.
Right,
It's all, in fact, it's posted because right there, as it turns into town,
as it turns.
Okay.
Jim's got the sign
'Cause there-
saying they're
because
posted.
there were
Everything
questions of me.
below
Yep, yep.
West Shore Road is town.
So the fact that it's not posted still is posted.
Right,
Yeah,
because you
because
can't
that
get
was a
there
question that
Yeah,
Can't get there,
Yeah,
without
going
going
on
on
to-
Posted Road.
yeah,
right,
got it.
right.
And, I mean, the $3 a sign, but it's still, it's like,
You'd think it'd be common sense.
there's no need to post every road.
Yeah.
Is there a difference between breaking the law this much or breaking the law this much? Not really.
All right, let's go on with correspondence. I didn't have anything. Do either of you two have anything for correspondence?
Not this
All
one.
right, we'll go on to admin items. We have something with Chris Cooper, and I don't know if that's Jeff or April.
Oh, well, we should pay Chris. He's gonna come down and, not mediate, what's the word?
Moderate.
Moderates the
Just
special
right.
town meeting.
Mhm.
And he doesn't like to give you a number. He makes us give him a number. I think we paid him 200 for the town meeting, which is a much bigger endeavor. Usually pay him mileage. So I don't know. I just wanted to put that before you. You guys can come up with a number to pay him.
Yeah, I asked him, he did exactly as April said. He said, well, he gave me a nice long story about how his fees have worked out. But he does go purely on you pay what you think.
Well, if we average out about a 4-hour meeting for our big town meeting at $200, that would, we paid him $200, so that's $50 an hour.
I think it's not that much money, given what we rely on for a good moderator. I would move that we pay him as usual, but we've given him his usual fee,
What is the
$200.
Even for just a half an hour?
Yeah,
And we're gonna pay the mileage?
well, we're gonna go see it on that. He's coming all the way from Alma.
Cause I would agree, definitely paying the mileage and definitely a amount, but 200 just seems like a lot if we pay him $200 on a Saturday afternoon. But this is a Saturday that he's giving up, so,
And
So what do
it's
you
also
think?
what we have to pay somebody else.
well,
So,
we could have gotten it for free, but he's not available.
well, he's not available.
Yeah,
So when you're talking about, moderate, then there's a, kind of like a minimum fee. This is actually pretty reasonable, given what moderators can charge.
I do want to think about it a little bit more. It seems like we have time to think about it.
Yeah, he literally did not send us a bill. Ashley and I had to like figure it out and pay him in like September or something from the town meeting.
We had a special town meeting last year, but he didn't.
No, he did moderate that.
Okay.
I mean, I feel like the town meeting is a lot of work.
Yeah, yeah.
To me, that's well underpaid for that, I think.
Mhm.
He is being underpaid for that. yes.
Yeah.
Other towns pay him a lot more. We used to
Yeah.
only pay him 100, I think.
Oh, wow.
And I
For the
asked
town
him
meetings.
last spring and he's like, well, here's what other towns have paid, but it's totally up to you. And then I came in here and shamed you guys. I was like, we've been paying him $100. He gets $350.
What do other
from
towns,
Pittston,
350?
500 from Alma. You know, so he gets more from other towns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So say,
I'm saying
we're
like
getting a
200
good
for
deal.
this one and then raise the.
Yeah, then
then
we would need to raise the
what
next
we pay
one.
him for the town meeting.
Yeah.
If we were gonna give him 200 for this, we can't give him 200 for the
What do you
town.
all think?
That doesn't make sense.
You're the
Are we allowed
town.
to comment?
Go ahead.
What was that?
I said, are we allowed to comment?
Yes, you are.
Hearing the other, what he gets from other towns, I think that $200 sounds realistic as far as
And then we'd have to up the one this summer.
Yeah.
or make it Westport Island is $200 every day.
No matter what you do.
Well, you don't know. This special town meeting could go on for hours. We don't know how much debate there's gonna be, you know?
Good point.
It's true too, yeah.
I agree with $200 is more than fair, and you should pay him more regular town meeting, if nothing else, for his sense of humor.
Yes,
He's-
And he's-
He's an
yeah.
excellent moderator,
job.
he keeps
oh,
the meeting
he
moving.
does, yeah.
Uh,
I'm
he's
shocked.
he's very good at what he does.
Yes,
So we need to remember this conversation when we get ready to do our regular town meeting so that we pay him.
We'll have it in the minutes.
we'll
Okay,
remember,
good.
we'll remember.
I'll remember.
So I'd like to make a motion that we intend to pay Chris Cooper $200 for moderating this next.
Well, I
special
made that
town
motion,
meeting.
I'll
Oh,
second
I didn't think
yours.
you- Okay, all in favor?
Uh-huh.
but, all right.
Any other admin items, April?
No, can't think of anything.
Yes,
This
sir.
next meeting, it's only for changing the daily assessment, basically.
It's changing from an assessing agent with the board having the brunt of the responsibility, changing that to having the assessor have the brunt of the responsibility and we oversee that. So it's changing
Okay.
the responsibility
On
because
that-
there's gonna be a lot more responsibility that that person has.
And that has nothing to do with the new assessment that's coming
Oh, the
up.
revamp? No, that's
No.
completely different.
No, because we would actually probably have to hire another, an assessing team from someplace else.
My comment is, it should be somebody has no cousin, no brother, no sister-in-law here in the island.
Yeah,
And they come, they do that for a living, they know exactly what to do, and then everybody gets treated fairly.
Exactly,
Right.
that's what we
Last
want.
time-
That's what you have in mind.
that's
Last
exactly.
time,
Yeah.
probably you too, got treated very unfairly. And I had to fight like hell to somehow feel satisfied.
That is the kind of point, the responsibility is the kind of key, then we'd be putting it into a professional assessor.
That makes sense.
Yep, and it's hopefully half an hour of your time you have to deal with on Saturday morning at 10 o'clock
Well, that, yeah.
with coffee
Oh,
and
that's a different-
donuts.
So please come.
Yes,
I will be there.
Okay,
Perfect.
thank you.
perfect.
I have just going back to roads, a question. Any commentary, discussion issues with Baker Road, with the intersection of Baker Road?
No. No,
I'm asking because if we're not hearing anything, but primarily relying on the bond contractor to say whether it's okay.
yeah, no, Dale hasn't said anything to me, he's had no problems there. I've had, I can't tell if things are migrating a little bit or not,
It
I-
sort
I
of looks
think
like it,
they've
but
migrated,
yeah,
but
Could've
not
been from the
significant.
January 10th storm with the storm surge, pushed us out. I don't know. Not pointing fingers.
It wasn't just water that was surging, huh?
Yeah,
but just being sensitive, but the key thing is whether it's safe to travel there and there's not any obstructions blocking the plowing.
no, he's had no problem there.
Okay.
It is being monitored though. But I need like a permanent landmark that can't be moved to compare everything to.
Yeah, it's hard because I've been driving by the past few
You know,
days
Ross
too.
and George picked the telephone pole up and moved that, so I can't use that,
GPS,
so.
GPS. That's good.
I know, but it gets expensive to have somebody with a drone constantly monitor that, but that's what it needs. All right. If we have no other comments, then I'd like to make a motion that we adjourn. Do I have a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Do you want a copy of the,
Do you, oh, I'm sorry, did you record this? I don't think I did.
She did.
It's a recording in the beginning.
Okay.
It's a video recording.